Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Love and Confetti. I'm Dani.
And I'm Arion.
This episode's actually interesting to watch the video of if you're listening to just the audio version. Ariana and I are actually in costume right now. We dressed
Yeah,
up. We're in Indian costumes.
Yeah, this is part of our themed date night.
Yeah, which brings us back to our topic for today, which is how to keep the fire alive during quarantine.
Yep. So many people right now are suffering because of quarantine and because of the coronavirus situation. Practically everyone's forced into a long-distance relationship. Even people who live in the same city are forced into a long-distance relationship. So you have to be inventive to keep the fire alive, to keep things working, I feel. You know, me and Dani, we've been long-distance for, what?
A year.
How many months now? A year.
Almost.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think
We've
a
been
year.
So we've been LDR for about a year now, and I feel that the fire hasn't died between us because we always find ways to make things interesting. So today we're going to talk about the main, I would say, things you need to focus on during an LDR relationship, especially during these trying times. Okay, so I think the first very important thing you need to know during an LDR relationship is communication is key. You need to talk and you need to be present during the relationship. You need to be there for your partner. You need to be constantly at not constantly at their beck and call, but you need to be available as much as possible. It's not like you're going out. It's not like you're going to be doing so many things during an LDR. You need to be able to be there for your partner. And I feel like communication is very important because it takes the place of many things in an LDR relationship. You don't have physical touch. You can't just send gifts left and right. There's certain limitations you have during an LDR. And how do you make up for it? Well, communication.
Yeah.
You need to really talk to your partner, tell them about how you feel,
Yeah.
tell them about your day. You can't just be a stranger during these times. You need to be there for
Yeah.
your partner. And how many hours a day do we talk, babe?
I think 2, maybe 1 to 3 hours a day.
2.
Maybe typically 2.
1 to 3, but when
when we feel like
when
it.
she wants more,
When you want more too,
when she wants more.
Not just me.
She's very demanding. Yeah.
Oh.
Sometimes we actually, like on special days where we miss each other extra, we can go up to like 5 or 6 hours of just talking. And I know that sounds pretty extreme. You don't need to follow us, guys, but it's just very important to at least dedicate at least an hour a day and at least just hear what they have to say. And even if you don't have much to talk about, just hearing your partner's voice should be enough for the most part.
I'm gonna piggyback on like what you just said because I feel like a lot of people, they become very demanding, with the communication, and like they expect their partner to always be available, which of course everyone has their own lives. You can't be available 24/7. And I feel like once one partner is super demanding, it kind of becomes a chore to the other partner, right? And it instead of it being fun to reply and everything, it kind of becomes, it becomes something you don't look forward to anymore. It's as if there's a punishment if you don't.
Like a chore.
Yeah. It's as if there's a punishment if you don't reply on time. So I feel like the quality of the communication is more important than the quantity. So, like, how well you communicate, how fun your conversation is more important than how many hours you put into
That's
talking
true.
to the other person, right?
That's true. I know a number of people that they tend to drive others away because of how much they demand
because
from
they
that
cling so
other
much.
person.
And it's like they don't have
Yes,
anything else to
and-
do with their day. Like, their only highlight is to talk to the other
Exactly.
person.
Exactly. So that's another part of communication. It's understanding what your partner needs and how much communication is enough for your partner.
Yeah.
So, you can't demand to talk to someone who just doesn't enjoy phone calls too much, right?
Here. I think another point that we can make is you also have to know how your partner communicates. Some people do better in video calls. Some people prefer texting because they're not comfortable with calling. Some people like phone calls but no video. Some people just want to tag other people in memes. I have friends who do that. And that's how I kind of communicate to my friends too. I don't call them, I don't text them, but I do tag them in daily memes. So I think it's important I think it's important to understand how you yourself want to receive the communication and how your partner wants to receive it too, or what you're both comfortable with, and adjust.
Yes, exactly. So it's all about, adjusting to your partner, especially if they're a loved one. You don't want to impose yourself. You don't want to impose your rules, oh, we have to talk X amount of hours a day. That's not right. You have to discuss it with each other. And then if something doesn't go according to plan, that's another thing. You need to be flexible.
Yeah.
You cannot be demanding. You cannot be your partner's boss. This is not a relationship where one is superior to the other. This is an equal relationship, and you need to communicate. You need to say, listen, I can't talk for today. I have some work to do, but I'll make it up to you tomorrow, something like that. Your partner should be understanding.
Yeah.
That's how it should work.
And I think, if you can, I think it's important to kind of create like a schedule or an expected time where the both of you can talk. At least let the other person know like how your days are like, how his days are like, or her days are like, and then so that you can kind of expect when each other is free. Because I think that's one thing that made our LDR kind of smooth sailing, because our time schedules kind of just aligned with each other. So I wake up early and he
Exactly.
sleeps late. Our schedules always align in a way na when I wake up, I call him and that's when he's going to sleep. When he wakes up, I'm already awake, and when he's about to sleep, like I can say goodnight to him pa. And during our free times, we kind of just
Yeah.
talk to each other. And our schedules are always the same. So I feel like, it kind of provides some familiarity. I'm comfortable because I know that I can reach out to you at these times and you're always going to be available. Unless, you have stuff to do.
Exactly. And then when I do have stuff to do, you're very understanding
Yeah.
about it. So you see, we already have that down. And I think, in the beginning, we kind of struggled. I feel like both of us kind of wanted more time from each
Yeah.
other during the first, beginning of our relationship. Because, we're fresh, we want to keep the fire really burning. And, but now, we've been together for almost 2 years now. And I can say that we understand each other. When one of us is not feeling up for it, when one of us is not feeling well, we're just like, you know what, rest, babe. You got this. We'll talk at another time. Okay, so I think communication is one point. What else? What's another thing that's important for LDR relationships? I would say choice of words.
What do you mean?
So meaning if you're in a relationship, communication's very important, but if you're just going to talk like your friends all the time, then how are
Yeah.
you keeping the distinction from friendship and lovers? How are you actually separating the two? Because in the end of the day, if you don't express that love, that desire for your partner on a daily basis, in my opinion, then how's your relationship any different from your relationship with your friends?
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of friends who aren't comfortable talking, with the desire. I mean, I have friends who don't even go like, oh, you're so guapo to their partners. They're kind of, they're very just comfortable with each other. It's kind of like they've been married for like half their lives, and at that point, even if they've only been like 2 years together, they're kind of just
They're not
Yeah, they're not
affectionate?
affectionate. They're always just like friends. They go out, maybe they hold hands. They're not PDA, and there's nothing wrong with not being PDA. But even then, like their conversations, it's very platonic. I wouldn't know because I haven't heard them talk as a couple.
Of course.
But these are just problems that my friends tell me about.
Well, I would have to disagree. I think that every relationship, one way or another, you need to have some form of expressing affection.
Yeah.
And words of affirmation, I mean, that's a very important
Yeah.
thing, especially during LDR, because you don't have that physical touch. You can't hold hands. You can't show that, hey, I like you. I want to grab your shoulder. I want to hold your waist. I want to hold your hands. That's not possible during an LDR
Yeah.
relationship. So how do you fix that? You give them words that make them feel desired, feel loved, because you can't just be like, oh, hey, my day was like this and that's about it.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what? I want to touch on love languages actually, because not everyone Well, Ariana and I, just to give a background, Ariana and I, our first love language is both words, which is very, we're lucky because at least we understand how we receive and how we give love. Like we're super okay on that. And then my second is time, and his second is physical. And I know that LDR is super challenging for people who have physical touch as their love language because that's completely taken from you. But yeah, so for like gifts, of course, you can always send each other gifts. So that's kind of, if words aren't your thing, at least you can, order them food or send flowers. I'm not
An
sure.
Amazon. Amazon gift card.
Yeah. No, we don't have Amazon here. Shopee.
Oh, okay. Shopee. Lazada.
Lazada. But yeah, I'm totally not a gifts person. Like that's my least, so I don't completely understand how they
Same
feel
actually.
about that.
I think we're both like
Yeah.
lowest on gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's by order for me is I would say words, then physical, then time, then acts of service, then gifts.
I'm completely the same except that my second and my third are interchanged. So my second is time and my third is physical touch, and we're very, very lucky. We're like one of the lucky few who have similar love languages, and I feel like that's why we work so well. Because imagine if like his number one was physical and my number one was gifts, and then being in an LDR, he isn't getting any physical touch from me, and I'm assuming that I'm not getting any gifts from him. So of course, like we both feel unloved. So
Mhm.
these are really something
Yeah,
that
so
you have to understand.
exactly. And so like back to my previous statement, with your limitations, you're going to have to kind of adjust your love
Yeah.
language. I don't know how that's possible.
Or at least
but you're going to have
adjust your
to try to adjust
expectations.
yourself. Exactly.
Yeah.
Adjust your expectations and try to make it work with the tools you are given. So that brings us to
But
my next point.
Let's give example. So we finished words of affirmation. Let's say your love language was time.
Okay. So how would you give time? Well, I guess dedicate a certain amount of time with your partner.
Yeah.
If your partner likes to play games, you can try to play video games online together. I mean, that's very possible. If your partner likes to watch movies, there's an extension on Google Chrome called Netflix Party. I mean, there are so many possibilities now with the internet, with video calling, that you have these options
Mhm.
at your fingertips.
That's true. Or you can like cook
So like
the same thing, or
yeah, you can
Or,
follow
you
can
can-
follow recipes together. Yeah. So like for example, me and Danny, we
week.
almost every week, maybe a couple of times a week, we have our date nights.
We watch a
And
movie.
usually what we do, we watch a
Yeah.
movie together. And sometimes the movies, they're not on Netflix Party, so we actually have to find another way to watch it. But we just time it like, oh, I'm hitting play.
Yeah.
And like, oh, I'm hitting play at the same time. Sometimes we're not in sync, but it's still nice that we're watching it together. And we get to enjoy a movie together at the comfort of our bed or the couch. So there's that. What else do we do over the distance? Like me, I have a tendency, I send e-cards every now and then. Yeah, there's a really nice app called Jib Jab. It's a website, and you can actually put like little faces, and you can put like your partner and you doing like silly dances
basically
and
like you
stuff.
put your faces into like characters or people.
Yeah.
And like in a music video, it's your face on the people.
I think I put myself in Despacito.
Yeah.
So I was singing Despacito to Danny. So there are many possibilities with your tools, right? Now, how do you make it even more interesting? Well, Danny and I, after months into LDR, we thought, hey, why don't we make our dates themed?
No, it's no.
So-
It started because we just had a date night. We
Right,
were just both
right.
in black. And then the next week, he told me to wear red.
We coordinated.
No, you told me to wear red because I think you were planning to like he was in a white button down with like a flower in his mouth, and his hair was like slicked back, so he looked like like some macho papi. And then I kind of like looked like a Spanish señorita because I was in I was in this red dress, and then he was like, hey, what about next week we coordinate? And then we just kind of did it. It was like our only opportunity to dress up in the week, so you're like, you know what, let's make every
Yeah.
Saturday like a date night, and we put a theme on it. We go in costume. So one time we were the Adams family. We were Morticia and Gomez.
Yeah, that was really fun. And ever since then, we've kind of just been like adding more and more little themes here and there. I remember we had this one recently where we dressed up as ninjas.
Oh yeah.
And we only wore the costume for maybe 10 minutes
Yeah,
tops
for
because
the
it got so hot.
photos, because there were so many
So
layers.
we just took it for the photos. photos.
Yeah, so we took
Yeah.
photos and then we changed back into PJs and then we still continued our movie.
Yeah. But see, like,
Oh,
you
so-
don't have to follow us.
Yeah.
You don't have to go full on extra with dressing in costumes. We just happen to like,
We like dressing
getting
up.
into costumes.
Yeah, we're
we
both
have that
very
in
extra.
common. Yeah, we have
Yeah,
that
but
in
this is
common. Like,
actually-
we love
this-
Halloween.
Yeah, this is actually how we bonded because I think we started talking around before Halloween. And then I think that was the first Halloween I spent that I wasn't in costume. And then we were
Same,
and then
actually.
we were talking about like our Halloween experiences and stuff and we sent each other, photos of us in costume and that was when I was kind of like, "Oh, this guy's extra. I really like him." He was sending me
Yeah.
photos where he was like in Wolverine. There was one where he was doing Jack Sparrow. I forgot your other costumes.
Joker.
Oh yeah. He did Joker.
Joker, Jon Snow.
Yeah. You know what? You know what's funny? After you sent me your costumes and then you asked for mine, right? And then I sent you pictures of mine. And then you didn't reply for such a long time, like hours. And then I thought like, oh wow, like he doesn't think my costumes are cool enough. Cause like honestly, you had the better costumes. My costumes were kind of like, lazy, kind of DIY.
No, I loved your
kn-
costumes.
Yeah, but if you really compare objectively, of course you had the better costumes. Like yours were really accurate. Mine were kind of like with a spin. So for example, I was Buttercup, but I didn't have my hair like short. There were no bangs. It was kind of like my hair was just long. It was kind of like the adult sexy
Okay.
Buttercup. But you had very accurate costumes and very like you were all out.
Okay, well-
And wait, and then you didn't reply for hours, babe. And then I was like, oh crap, like well I turned him off now. Because like my costumes were probably not cool enough. Yeah, you didn't reply to me, and then I just thought that you kind of got turned off, and I was like, oh well, that was a short-lived relationship. Because you didn't reply for like I think like I don't know how many hours after I sent you like photos of me, in the past. I was like, okay, he probably didn't find me pretty before. Never mind.
Actually, I wanted to say, okay, you kept going on, but I actually wanted to say I really liked your costumes. I really liked the girl of El Dorado.
Oh yeah,
That
Esmeralda.
one. Yeah, you did really well there. No, El Dorado.
Oh, Chell.
Esmeralda. Chell. And then, yes, you also did Esmeralda, which was fantastic. You did Pocahontas, which was fantastic. You did so many good costumes, babe.
Yeah.
Like, you really look beautiful. And then, like, now, you're pulling off so many nice costumes these days that I think you're just really talented at this.
No,
this
no,
whole
this one I actually bought in
DIY.
Singapore. No, I
Oh,
bought
well-
this. I legit bought this
Oh,
in
you bought that
Singapore.
one.
Yeah, because I thought
Okay.
I don't know, for some reason I thought I would use an Indian sari sometime in my life.
Now you did. Now you used it.
Anyway.
But like, for example, your ninja costume recently was just amazing. Your hippie costume was great. Babe, you're really
No, it
good
wasn't.
at doing costumes. No,
Thank
you're
you.
just, in general, you're very good at costumes. And then, I don't know if you guys saw our recent Halloween pictures in Amsterdam, but
All right, yeah, we
my
did
girlfriend,
Aladdin
my
and
beautiful
Jasmine.
girlfriend was Princess Jasmine, and I tried to pull off Aladdin, although I think I'm a little bit too pale to be Aladdin.
Oh, and there was
Anyway.
one time we did Starfire and Robin.
Oh right,
Yeah,
that was
that was
for
our first
Halloween.
couple-
That was for
A
this
festival.
festival in Spain called
Carnival.
Carnival, yes.
Yeah, that was our first couple costume ever. That was legit both our first couple costumes. for
In
me.
fact, there's a big funny story behind that. We on the day itself we were making the costumes and
Yeah,
we were
we
late
made
for
it-
our ride.
we made it on the day, like on the spot.
We were so late that we were making the costume on
In
the
the
way
car.
in the car to the city.
And
So-
even when we got to the city, we went to a park on a bench. We just found a bench and we were like still sewing and cutting.
Yeah, we're so extra like
Yeah,
that.
good times.
So
Wait,
yeah,
were
good
we?
times.
Why were we? Why did we talk
We're
about
drifting off
costumes?
topic.
Yeah, sorry. Going
no,
back.
basically the reason why we mentioned costumes is, we try to keep things interesting. We don't want our relationship to be stale. We want it to be fun and fresh, and we try different and interesting ideas. So
Yeah.
one day it's costume making, another day it's cooking together, another day it's doing things together. So especially during LDR, you need to find those interesting activities you can do together. Not just,
Yeah.
hey babe, how was your day? What did you eat? What did you watch? What did you do?
Yeah, and these activities have to be something you both actually like. So we're just lucky. This is just like a special case where we both like dressing up.
Yes.
So whatever floats your boat.
Mm-hmm. For example, food is we both love food. So many times I show her my cooking, and many times she tries to copy what I cook. So I teach her recipes
I just
and
ask for
stuff.
the
And these are
recipe.
activities. Yeah, these are activities we do
Yeah.
together as well. We don't actually physically cook the same meal at the same time. We would if we could. The thing is, of course,
We we have
given
different
with the
time
time
schedules.
difference,
Yeah.
we eat at different times. So there's that. But there's so many fun activities you can do online. And games, if you're into gaming is a very good thing, very fun thing. I have a friend, she loves to play Animal Crossing, and recently her boyfriend got Animal Crossing as well on the Switch.
Yeah, so they just play
And
together.
basically they just have like their online dates in
That's
Animal
cute.
Crossing. So they visit each other's islands. So it's really, really cute. It's really nice and very charming.
Okay, another way.
Let's switch to another topic.
Oh, I think that it's also important to plan for the future. I mean, we don't know when this is gonna end, but at least you both have something to look forward to when all this is over. Maybe like you can plan a trip or plan a date, a movie you wanna watch together, a restaurant you wanna eat in. In our case, we planned for a trip where Arion can actually come and visit me. But that's like to the extremes.
Mhm.
But I think like just something you can kind of hold on to, because the world's very uncertain now. And you kind of just want some security, even if it's just like a small security.
No, I completely agree. I wanted to add to that. It's important to have like goals, even just mini goals.
Yeah.
You need to always include your partner in those goals, because if you're in a relationship, we're expecting, that you're kind of in it for the long term, right? If you're getting into a relationship for fun or something, then of course this is not for you. LDR is not for you. LDR means committing and trying to make things work over an unexpected amount of time. We don't know, me and Danny, we don't know when we're going to see each other again, but we have these little goals. Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to try to see each other by next year minimum. We're going to try to make things work. Tomorrow, we're going to have this phone call. There are little plans, little goals that you have that include your partner. If you have your own personal goals and your personal journey and that does not have your partner in mind, then you're going to drift apart. I'm going to tell you straight up, you're going to drift apart. If your plan is to move to, let's say you're both in the Philippines and your long-term plan is to move to Japan or another country, America, and you have no other plan with your partner, then I'm sorry to say it's not going to be easy. It's not going to work. And unless your partner has plans to follow you to wherever you're going, it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
So like Danny and I, we've discussed these things. I'm going to be visiting her. She's going to be visiting me. Eventually, we're going to find somewhere we can live together. And be it Asia, Europe, wherever, we want to stay together, no matter the place. Because I keep telling Danny this, but home is not where, home is not a country. Home is where the heart is. And my heart lies in Danny. So my home is Danny. Danny's my home. And I want to be with her wherever she will be. So
Wait, I'm very kilig.
so be it Europe, be it Asia, be it in the middle of Antarctica, I will make a home with her wherever we are. Well, of course not Antarctica, but I'm just giving an example.
Wait, I'm kilig. Okay. Whew. I'm getting my composure back. Okay, and I think it's important that like when you finally do see each other, you just make the most of it. And I don't think that, just take what you can get. I mean, don't say that it wasn't a good meeting because it didn't live up to like your standards or your expectations, because you were expecting, let's say, a 5-star dinner somewhere, or I don't know, you were expecting something grand, and then in reality it was actually just like a movie night in your PJs with takeout. I mean, you still did get to spend time together. And just because it wasn't
Exactly.
like something grand doesn't mean it wasn't good, right?
Exactly. No, and I want to mention, like, there were so many moments where we were in bed and we were like, okay, today we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to go out, we're going to have a great time. And then by the end of, like, just like a nap or something, we're like, babe, do you still want to go out? Nah, let's just stay in.
Yeah.
So there are many moments where quality time can be found in just your bed, in just your living room, and in the kitchen. It's about making every moment count. Every
Yeah.
moment matter. It's not about where you are. It's about who you're with. So memories can be made anywhere. Of course, travel dates are amazing. Me and Danny, we've had amazing moments where we've traveled to different cities. Now, of course, this does not apply in LDR right now because not everyone has those means. But like I said, find activities, find things to do that are interesting and fun and engaging. That's the word, engaging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one last point that just came up in my head.
Okay.
Okay. I think that you should take this time as an opportunity to kind of like quote unquote like develop your senses with each other. Because you know how when you're blind, it's like all your other senses, they, I don't know, they get enhanced. So you're blind, but then you can hear better. You can, I don't know if you can feel better or if you can taste better. But you know, that's
Actually,
what they
I
say.
think you can feel better. Yeah.
You can? Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, but since right now you're not physically together, I think you should use this time to like emotionally connect with the other person. Like get better at reading your partner without him in front of you. You should take the time to like get to know the tone of their voice, what, you know, ticks them off, and what's the tone of their voice when they get ticked off. Because a lot of times, you know, you're together physically and you do all these physical activities, you go on dates, blah blah blah, you hold hands, you're very physically intimate, but at the end of the day when you get home and like let's say you call each other, you realize that you don't really have anything to talk about. Actually, I just this thought just came up because earlier I was on the phone with a friend and she was like telling me about the relationship problems of people she knew, that because they used to see each other at least 3 times a day or 2 times a day before, and now like they don't even call, they don't even text. I think they just chat or something, and it's very hard for them. And I think that, you know, sometimes you're always physically together and sometimes this can pose as like connection, but then you realize that if you can't even like hold a conversation or you can't properly communicate with your partner, you realize that you're not really connected, like not in the real
That's
sense.
true. Yes. No, that's a very good point. I agree completely. I think that you use this time, use this as an opportunity to get to know your partner in ways you never knew them before.
Yeah.
So, me and Danny, we know each other's tone of voice so well to the point where I know when I know the different ways she says babe. Okay, so it's so silly, but I know the different ways. For example, I know when Danny's hungry, she goes, "Babe." I'm like, "You're hungry, right?" And she's like, "How did you know?" Because I just know when she wants to eat something, or like when she's sad or in a bad mood, she's like, "Babe." You know, like I can tell already. You know, there's a hint in that voice, and I can tell that she is sad.
Yeah, and when I want something, it's like the longest babe you'll ever hear. You know when a girl
Yeah, it's
wants
like,
something and she's like,
"Babe."
babe. And then
Like,
you know that she's
"You
about
want
to ask for a
something, don't you?"
favor.
Like, yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, but
so
you also
there are
have
the
those.
different types
You also
of
have your
babes.
moments. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I have my moments too. And she's very good at reading me. She knows when I'm upset about something. And we rarely get upset with each other. But like, I think just yesterday, Danny was upset with me because I didn't do something. She wanted me to do something.
Sorry.
And she didn't need to say anything. I knew she was upset. And when I asked her later on, I'm like, "Were you upset with me?" She's like, "Yeah, I was kind of upset." Like, "Are you still upset with me?" Like, "No, not really anymore." I'm like, okay. But you see, that's part of communication. That's a very good thing to mention too. You need to express your emotions, your feelings, especially when you're upset or
yeah, don't be
when
passive
you're-
aggressive.
Yeah, you know, it's very hard to read someone. We're
Yeah,
good at
especially when
reading
they're
each other
not
already.
there. They're not
Exactly.
You don't see their face. You ask them if they're mad, they say
Exactly.
no, but they don't talk to you.
That's completely wrong. You need to tell your partner, "Hey, I am pissed, and I am pissed about this, this, and that." You need to express yourself. You need to be very
Yeah.
expressive, because if you're just going to be passive aggressive and just hint at
Yeah.
things,
I mean, your partner's
it's
not
not
a
gonna
mind
work.
reader.
Exactly. Especially over the webcam, over
Yeah.
a voice call. You cannot read people's minds. So to all the boys and girls out there listening, remember, communication, expression, desire, express your desire to your partner. You know, these are all very important things. They all go together. And of course, try to keep it engaging and interesting as much as possible.
You have anything else to add?
Okay. No, I think that's pretty much it for today. I think we've touched up on many good points.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention if anyone hasn't noticed or paid attention to what we were talking about, our costumes today, part of our theme date night, is Bollywood. We're going
Yeah.
Bollywood today. So Danny's in a beautiful sari and she looks absolutely gorgeous.
I don't know how to wear this scarf. This is like, I don't know how this works.
And as for me, I kind of went DIY. I just found a polo I had lying around and a couple of scarves that belonged to my mom, and I kind of just tied it around my head.
Yeah,
tried
I
to
think
make a
think
turban.
this episode would be fun to like watch. Like
if you can,
the
please watch us
visuals.
on
Yeah.
YouTube.
We're on
or on
YouTube
Facebook.
and on Facebook.
And I think we'll share some snippets of this also on Instagram.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. I hope we
I think
touched
this
up
was a
on
good
some
show.
important topics. Yeah.
And this was very
And,
spontaneous. We're kind of just doing this on the spot.
Yeah, we were kind of like, hey, you want to turn date night into podcast night?
Yeah.
Like, okay. So, yeah, that's it for today, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to all our channels. And I'm Arion.
I'm Dani.
And this
This
was
is-
Love and Confetti.
Okay, bye
Love you, babe.
guys.
Bye, guys.